Okay, this week, let's just do a little bit of checking SPSS. Let's make sure that we like SPSS, that it's calculating our numbers correctly to get ready to do ANOVA next week. So hopefully this will be a very short video and a very short little assignment that you can do and enjoy. Okay, this is the Viagra data set, and we're going to be using this now for the next few weeks. So be thinking, as usual, I'm going to ask you to write a little introduction, like why was this issue studied? Who were the participants? What might have been the research question? Just a paragraph that introduces this. We'll skip the lit review, and then I'll ask you to write a quick methods section. You know, how many people were there in this study and what doses were they assigned to? Perhaps something about them being randomly assigned. That's always good. Be thinking about that. This will be coming up soon, and we'll continue to work with this data set for a while. What I'd like you to do today, though, is just very simply conduct an ANOVA. And you'll come into this Analyze menu right here. I wanted to talk you through this. Here in Compare Means, you see the Compare Means, there is a one-way ANOVA option. But there's another place in SPSS that I think is even better, and this is where I'd like you to come to. Instead of conducting ANOVA under the Compare Means, if you'll come down one more to the General Linear Model, ANOVA and regression and t-test, these are all general linear models. And so let's come over here to the univariate general linear model. If you can have the chance to take 5530 over the summer, you'll use this multivariate and repeated measures. In both of these cases, the dependent variable, the thing that we predict, is actually a basket of variables. There's more than one. But in univariate, we're just predicting one thing. In this case, in univariate, we are predicting the libido. So we're looking at, and here I can reset this, we're looking at, we're not going to look at participant number, that's not very meaningful information, but we're looking at the dose of Viagra. That is a fixed factor. We had low, we had high, and we had our control group. And we're going to see if that has an influence, if that can help predict the libido. And so I put libido in as my dependent variable. Notice the dependent variable is a scale variable, a continuous variable, and the fixed factor is nominal. Now, sometimes instead of putting dose of Viagra in fixed factor, we would put it here in random factors. And that would be the case, say there were 10 possible different doses, and I randomly chose to test 3 of those. Then I would move this down here to random factor instead of fixed factors. Generally, it won't make a difference, and so just be aware that it's there. Be aware that covariates are there, and we will talk about these in the next couple of weeks. Okay, before I click on OK and get my ANOVA, I would like to come in here under plots and just get a plot. I'm going to put dose on my horizontal axis. I'm going to add that. What happens is once I put dose in here, if I add it, it'll show up here in plots, and I'll continue. If you do this, you'll get a nice little graph that demonstrates visually where the different libidos were. We will talk in the future about post hoc tests, and they're right here, and we'll talk about doing a post hoc test for dose, and then choosing. The ones we'll choose are Bonferroni, we'll choose Tukey, and we'll choose Dunnett. Those will be coming up next week, okay? And then finally, here under options, we can put dose in here as it's our dependent variable, and so we would like means for that. So I'm going to put descriptive statistics. Look at this, woohoo! Estimates of effect size. We can actually get SPSS to figure out effect sizes for us right here. Okay, I'm going to continue on this one. I'm going to click OK on this one. And here's the output that I've got. So I've got, tells me that 5 were in each group. It tells me what my statistics and my standard deviations are. Very important for the write-up. They're right here. I don't have to calculate those by hand. Then it gives me this ANOVA table. And we will talk about this a lot more next week. But right here under partial eta squared, we've got an effect size. So we're good to go on that one. And then finally, if we come down in here, we should get our graph. These are the comparisons. Aha, here's my graph. And this is pretty nice. It's a very visual representation. Let me show you here. I've got it blown up here, so it's a lot easier to see. Okay, my graph gives me a nice visual representation of how as I move from the placebo to the low dose to the high dose. We really do see these different levels of libido. So go ahead and calculate these. Just make sure you're comfortable with it.